Censorship is the indirect act of controlling an individual's thoughts through prohibiting any sort of material, being it literature or news content, deemed inappropriate or dangerous by higher powers, commonly the government. This form of suppression of information affects one's actions and thoughts, molding new opinions and ideas on limited content available to the public. Why is this important? We will look at censorship in two of China's most historic moments.
The Chinese Cultural Revolution, also known as the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution, took place from 1966 to 1976, spearheaded by the leader of the Chinese Communist Party, Chairman Mao Zedong. Mao declared war against the bourgeoisie of China and the Four Olds. These refer to the old culture, customs, habits, and ideas of China. Mao's revolution was brutal, and at least 1.5 million people were targeted, tortured, imprisoned, and killed under the guise of destroying ideas of capitalism and of reformation. Through the purging of the Four Olds, books and films were banned, theatres, news companies, and temples were shut down, and anything else that supported or showed traditional culture of China was thrown under suspicion. Any publications accessible to commoners were heavily restricted, and most of what actually got through was party propaganda. Of course, the intellectuals were the main target in this. Mao feared that the knowledge would throw off the revolution, and thus he pitted the masses against them. As anything traditional was banned, students were taught instead revolutionary propaganda, learning Mao's Little Red Book and revolutionary songs, all subjects that could be useful for labour. They were pushed to report anything and anyone who seemed a threat to the revolution, causing teachers and principals to be sent away by their own students. The students soon formed the Red Guard, a group that pledged themselves to help Mao Zedong take out all other counter-revolutionists. Soon after, Chairman Mao shut down all the schools, encouraging them to devote themselves solely to the revolutionary cause. With an estimated total of 11 million members throughout the revolution, the Red Guard reported and attacked teachers, principals, parents, local leaders, and anyone who seemed the least bit suspicious. Many were charged with crimes that they did not commit. While the revolution later broke down, the Chinese government has only vaguely apologized or acknowledged the events that occurred. Furthermore, it set the stage for the use of censorship in China.
The protest in Tiananmen Square was ignited on April 15, 1989 by the death of Hu Yaobang, a liberal political reformer. The grief and anger of thousands of Chinese university students led to the creation of a protest in hopes of reforming the communist government with democratic ideals. The Communist Party feared losing control and in return declared martial law, which called for military troops armed with tank columns to drive out demonstrators from Tiananmen Square. On June 4, 1989, Chinese troops and security charged the crowds with assault rifles, shooting their weapons arbitrarily into the masses and taking the lives of 2,600 protesters while incarcerating 10,000 of them. Many died trying to prevent the attacks from further injuring civilians by throwing rocks at the authority and standing in their path. This event gained significant attention and criticism from Western European and Asian countries. The Chinese government concealed all information regarding the student-led protests for political reform through utilizing censorship. All data ranging from videos to news articles on the event has been blocked in China. This event disappeared into time as the government intended to erase it from Chinese history in the hopes of destroying any evidence that may be influential for the generations to come. Most remain unaware of the massacre until they get to college, and even then acquire mostly vague and limited details on what occurred. Currently, Chinese young adults find themselves confused about the motives for the protest and blame the student massacre on the influence and manipulation of foreign governments. The global symbol for the incident, known as the Tiananmen photo, was only recognized by 15 out of 100 Beijing university students. Censorship is one of the most successful forms of control put in place by governments. The Chinese government managed to erase the Tiananmen Square incident from all possible forms of transmission in China. This shocking act of censorship stems from Chinese Cultural Revolution and the culture of censorship that it created. The careful use of censorship both in the Cultural Revolution and the later events of Tiananmen Square twice allowed the government to manipulate the outcomes in their favor.
The noise of gunfire rose from all over the center of Peking. The rickshaws scooped up the injured, others were shunted onto bikes and pedaled to hospital.